Hey, Stephen Young here doing the muscle car crawl at High Octane Classics in Auburn, Massachusetts with the third of 3 Shelby GT350 specific videos. This one is, well, quickly, how do you tell a 65 from a 66 GT350? First up, 65 side pipes, 66 all the way out the back, 65 no side scoop, 66 plastic scoop here which feeds air to the rear brakes, and finally the stripes on 65s extend down below the door. For 66, to simplify the masking process, the stripe, the entire thing goes up here using the bottom of the door as the bottom line. So those 3 things quickly identify a 65 from a 66 GT350. Now, one thing about GT350s is that the vast majority of them were shipped from Shelby without these sexy wheels. Instead, they came with these steel wheels right here, but they're not just any wheels. These are 15 by 6 inch wheels with 3 nubs for the hubcaps. And these are the kind of wheels that Ford used on 427 Galaxies, not on K-Code Mustangs. So again, very unusual and very rare rims. But that said, you pay a little extra money, you got these things here. Now, these were designed by Peter Brock, who was a Shelby employee, also the same guy who did the finned aluminum valve covers and finned aluminum oil pan. But these were made by Kreger for Shelby, and they have the Carroll Shelby logo in the center cap, and again, a forged aluminum center with a steel chrome hoop. These are reproductions, I'm pretty sure. These are commonly available today, but again, these wheels were only seen on a small portion of the 1965 and 66 GT350s. Now, if you want to learn more about these cars, you can pick up my book, Steve Bianti's 1001 Muscle Car Facts, or Mustang Facts in this case. And in this, I've got bunches of bits of information about the early Shelby Mustangs. Speaking of which, I love old magazines, and this is sports car graphic from March 1965, and you gotta love that illustration on the front of Shelby American Mustang GT, and GT350 wasn't even a word yet, and we can see on this artist illustration, it's an R-type with the front air cove. It has torque thrusts on it, does not have the rocker stripe, so it's kind of a very early example of what the GT350 would eventually become. Inside, this is a very unusual story because the car that's used is a pre-production R-type. You can see the rear wheel opening has that primer on it. It's been hogged out. The hood is a very unusual looking thing with sort of a lump. And again, this one has the torque thrust wheels, which were seen on the R-Code only, not on the street cars. But a great thing, I love looking at vintage magazines to explore the past and the present. And speaking of the present, this is Muscle Car Review magazine. This one right here, this is the October 2016 issue. And inside of this, I wrote a story on another very special GT350 from right here in Massachusetts. This is the Snoopy GT350. This was owned originally by the Walls family of Massachusetts, and these folks still own the car, the sons of the original buyer. Now, this car was originally sold out of Harford in Worcester, Massachusetts, which has a lot of history. There was some Cobra 427 sold out of Harford, and in fact, this very same Mustang right here, you can see there's a picture of the Mustang racing against a Corvette. The Corvette is being driven by Shirley Cha-Cha Muldowney, and if you know your drag racing, she was one of the first ladies to get an NHRA Top Fuel license. Well, she also used to run, her and her husband Jack at the time, ran a series of Stingrays, and here she is in a Stingray running against the Snoopy GT350 at a drag strip here in New England. And here's the car right there with pictures and with trophies, and it's just a cool thing. So I met with the Walls family on this, and they told me the story of the car. And indeed, here they are here, Stephen and Bobby Walls, who still own the car, but if we just sort of scan through these pictures, we'll see that their Mustang is largely unrestored. It's very pure. Now, they did some changes to the car. They've owned it since it was new again, so they put a T5 overdrive 5-speed manual, but they kept all the original stuff, the headers, the Detroit locker, and the aluminum T10 4-speed manual transmission. So it's kind of cool. Massachusetts, Shelby GT350 is the other side of the country from Southern California, where these things were built way back when, and of course at the Ford San Jose factory. But here in Massachusetts, Harford and High Octane Classics in Auburn, Massachusetts, still have lots of GT350 history, legacy, the past and the future going together right now. But if you like this video, be sure to check out the first 2 in this series on the GT350 Mustang. The first one explores the drivetrain, the second one, suspension. And again, if you get a chance, grab a copy of my book, Steve Maionti's 1001 Mustang Facts. You can find it online. And if you like this video, well, be sure to subscribe to the Steve Maionti YouTube channel.